Hi, everybody. I ran across a very interesting article a little while ago, and I wanted to share it with you. Now, I don't have time to do a bunch of research, but I think that it's possible that if somebody looked into this more deeply, that we might be able to actually connect more of the dots that shaped our financial world today. Figure out what that history was that brought us to where we are today. But this is the real GoldFinger, the London banker who broke the world. The true story of how the City of London invented offshore banking and set the rich free. Now, the City of London, for those of you who don't know, it's a city within a city. There's the London that we all know about, and then there's the City of London, which is just 1.12 square miles, so it's just a few blocks in the middle of London. And this is where most of the brokerage houses and banks have their headquarters, because it's subject to its own laws, and I believe there's tax benefits and so on. And it's got its own flag and coat of arms. And then its local authority, it's being run by a corporation called City of London Corporation. And it has its own coat of arms and so on. So this is very interesting. How does it relate to the article? Well, down lower in the article, it says one banker in particular was not prepared to tolerate this, Sigmund Warburg. And it turns out that Sigmund Warburg was the one that engineered this offshore banking. And what I find interesting about that is, so here's Sigmund Warburg, but the Warburgs are a family that you may have heard of before. Paul Warburg was the architect of the Federal Reserve. He's the one basically that designed how the Federal Reserve would operate. And then he had a son, James Warburg, who was an economist, a banker, and an advisor to Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, nobody knows who penned the executive orders that all came out, this big flurry of executive orders that came out once the Roosevelt administration took office. Right after the stock market crashed, there were bank runs and panics going on. And so one of the executive orders it declared a bank holiday, closed the banks for a week, but it also made private ownership of gold in the United States illegal. And it remained illegal for 50 years. Now, I doubt very much if Franklin Roosevelt himself penned these executive orders that were passed. This takes advisors and attorneys to draft these things. And so one of his chief advisors and an economist and a banker was James Warburg, son of Paul Warburg. And then this is the Sigmund Warburg that we're talking about that created offshore banking. And so it's just interesting how all of this sort of comes together, and this same family is so involved in creating the world that we live in today, the financial world, the way that it operates. A large piece of it was created by this family. So if anybody out there wants to take a look at that and write us, it would actually be appreciated. Thank you very much for listening.